It is AEW Full Gear 2020 predictions time. Hello, you are watching the WrestleTalk prediction show with me, El Fakador, Laurie Blake, and here to discuss AEW with me are the Vicars of AE-DUBLEY themselves, Ollie Davis and Luke Owen, who have been trading a certain championship back and forth. What's been going on there, lads? What's the deal this time?
Well, I am your two-time Jam That champion, not just the inaugural champion, but the two-time champion, and it's staying right here with me. Unfortunately, I'm only ever going to be a two-time champion because this ain't going anywhere.
I mean, even if you lose, which you're going to, you'll still only ever be a two-time champion. So what you're saying is that you're going to lose it and then never win it back ever again. Who's the idiot now, Davis?
No,
you're the
I didn't mean it that way.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, you big idiots.
Lads, stop it. Behave. We've done this prediction show a couple of times now, and you've both been very naughty both times. The thing we need coming into the live reactions this weekend, and please do tune in on Saturday. We'll be watching the whole show and reacting to it as it goes live, is someone to guide us through the process, someone to make sure that the rules are followed, someone to make sure that things go to plan. I'm putting myself forward to be the special guest referee for this week's live reactions and predictions competition to make sure that there is no funny business whatsoever.
You can't just put yourself in a match like this. Who do you think you are? Adam Pearce?
I'm not in the match. I am the match.
I am the law.
It's logical.
Do you know what, Davis? I mean, A, it does make sense. But also B, you and I have known El Fakador for a number of years. You and I both know just how trustworthy he is.
Yeah.
I think maybe he is the most trustworthy man for this job.
I can't remember another time that trust in El Fakador has backfired on me or you, but I just trust Fakador knows what's best for WrestleTalk, and he does call it right down the middle.
If you want to see what happens, then join us for the live reactions on Saturday. If you want to predict against us, please become a pledge hammer on Patreon and join Wrestle League, which is our predictions competition. Anyway, let's talk about AEW Full Gear. And the first prediction we're going to do is specific, incredibly specific. It's the bonus question because the rumors are flying around that Sting might be making an appearance at AEW Full Gear. So the question is, do we think Sting will be appearing at the show, and why?
Yes, this it was in Cage Side Seats' rumor section at the moment. Quote, combined with news of his merchandise being pulled from WWE Shop, a Full Gear commercial featured shocking appearances throughout AEW history, which has fans speculating about a Sting appearance at Saturday's pay-per-view. Sting, I think, has been one of those guys that's been sort of rumored to be in joining AEW for quite a while now. However, that's if it's throughout AEW history, Sting's not been part of AEW history, so I'm not sure if you can count Sting within all of that. However, if there's one thing that AEW love, it's WCW. And if there's one person that signifies and encapsulates WCW that isn't
Ultimo
Ric Flair,
Dragon. Oh, no.
Then they can't get Flair, then you get the next best Flair, you get Sting. Exactly. Yeah, the icon known as Sting. I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes. And I think that we are going to be starting to build towards, because remember, Jericho started introducing the bat, and that's when everyone thought that Sting was going to come in. Then I think you might build towards a Jericho Sting match, maybe at Double or Nothing or All Out 3 next year. So I'm going to say yes.
I think Sting will one day arrive in AEW. He's around the same time as Chris Jericho started using the bat, and everyone first started going, "Hey, Sting, maybe he could go over there." His Legends deal expired, I believe. He was tweeting publicly about how good AEW was when he was watching it and exchanging tweets with Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. So that's when everyone was like, "Ooh, I'd like to see them all work together." I think it will eventually happen, but I don't think it's at Full Gear. That's 1 point for Ollie.
That's 1 point for Ollie.
Looking at the card here, I don't see a lot of title. I see a lot of good matches. I don't see a lot of title changes and drama in the big thing, in like the main event sort of picture. So I'm thinking they need something to give them a bit of pop and a bit of make people talk about Full Gear. So I'm going to say yes, Sting. Yes, Sting. Let's move on to Orange Cassidy versus John Silver, which is on the pre-show.
Fall 3 stories, get up and run away.
You do? You've got something to hide.
I think Orange Cassidy will win. Because as great as John Silver is, and he's really gotten over, and people love him thanks to his being the elite work, Orange Cassidy is a ratings mover. He's a TV draw. He beat Chris Jericho in their feud. There's no way he's going to give a loss to as great as he is, John Silver, and nor should he.
I'm also going to agree with him. It has got to be an Orange Cassidy win here. Fun little kickoff show match, or whatever AEW call it, the buy-in, I guess.
I'm also going for Orange Cassidy. I think he is like Ollie said, he's the money, he's the draw, and he's the one that's really popular. And they just want to use this to get people to buy in to the main show. So I think Orange Cassidy going over here is the right decision. Next, Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy in the Elite Deletion.
So the report on this is that it's a taped match. It's going to be a cinematic match, and it's going to be taped at the Hardy compound. So controlled environment, which is probably for the best, given the track record that these two have had both on pay-per-view and on TV. This has been a disastrous feud, and I'm actually a bit mad at this company for still going on. I think it's quite foolish to continue this path. And it's at the Hardy compound, so I think Matt's going to win. But honestly, who could possibly care at this point?
It's kind of the Undertaker thing of just being like, well, that didn't meet my standards, so one more match. And it's like, you just get your legs are breaking. Look at you. Oh, Matt Hardy, God bless him, but they need to stop. I'm going to go with Sammy. I'm going to say Sammy will win at the Hardy compound.
I'm going to go with Sammy as well, but really, it could go either way. I see the arguments for both sides. I don't think it's irresponsible for this feud to carry on in the way it is, because realistically, how many more injuries can they give each other? And it's pre-taped. You'd hope.
Eventually, they're just going to be slapping each other from hospital beds.
It's basically like that lad in Holy Grail. 'Tis but a flesh wound.
But I just think, the feud has long passed any momentum. Fans don't want to see them wrestle anymore because it brings up those uncomfortable memories of All Out. I think AEW management should have stepped in and say, sorry, you had your chance twice. We're going to go with a different feud now. Plus, I don't think the cinematic matches fully work in AEW.
Yeah, I thought the Baker cinematic match was fun. But I do wonder whether
Stadium Stampede?
Well, the Stadium Stampede, exactly, yeah.
So those are kind of within the rules of reality, though. Whereas the Hardy deletion. Are you saying Matt Hardy doesn't exist within the rules of reality? I'm just saying.
What a bold claim, Ollie.
I think actually the bolder claim
this is why you come to
broken Matt Hardy is that broken Matt Hardy's never had a good cinematic match. I'm pretty sure that's what Ollie Davis is saying here. The broken Matt Hardy is a rubbish character that no one likes.
And it can somewhat undermine the rest of the tone they're going for. It's hard to be an AEW fanboy like me and defend it when people have very, understandable criticisms, and that would be one of them. It's hard to defend.
Get in the lake. That's what Ollie thinks about this match. Let's do Chris Jericho versus MJF. MJF wants to get into the inner circle. If he wins this match, he will do. I think the most interesting thing to do in that case is put MJF in the inner circle and give him the opportunity to corrupt it from the inside and probably ruin it for Chris Jericho, thus continuing what's been a really fun, interesting feud. MJF losing and not being allowed into the inner circle doesn't have as many interesting story beats, and it just feels like one of those ones where why set it up if you're not going to go with it? Because it just promises something far more interesting than he loses, moves on to a new feud.
MJF really needs to win this. What I think's a lot more fun and interesting is MJF ultimately bests Jericho, and then you've got a situation where MJF is in the inner circle, but who is the leader? Because MJF beat Jericho, but Jericho's you just won the match to join the inner circle, and various inner circle members could align themselves with MJF, saying, "Hey, you got a point there." But I'm very excited for whatever they've got him.
I thought you were going to say War Games there. So they've got War Games coming up. Survivor Series is around the corner.
Right, finally, the blood and guts match. We can finally get our version of War Games. Yeah, I'm going with MJF here because I think him joining the Inner Circle makes the most storyline sense. This would be awful if Jericho wins, but then goes, but you know what? You impressed me enough, kid, that you still get to join the group. A bit like, you know, how it was, hey, Shane McMahon, the only way you're getting control of this company is if you beat The Undertaker. I mean, you didn't, but we're still going to give you control of the company anyway.
The consolation prize is the same as first prize sometimes. Okay, let's do, and this is a really good one, Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. Obviously, this is for a AEW World Championship shot. This is great because I think both guys have a really good claim to getting him. Like, if you think John Moxley's going to win, it's a really good claim for both of them to be in that match because Hangman Page vied for the inaugural championship. Kenny Omega and John Moxley have already had a feud that was brilliant. And they're both former tag team champions. And, there's so much fun stuff in this.
Oh, man. This is the match I might be most excited for. Like, obviously, and I can see it going, obviously, this is going to sound like a dumb thing to say. I can see it going one of two ways, Laurie Blake. It can either go Hangman, but it can either be Hangman Page or it could be Kenny Omega. This is what you come to WrestleTalk for. It's this kind of analysis.
This and the Matt Hardy stuff. We are miles above Cultaholic at this exact moment. We are flying high.
This is the best predictions video we've ever made. I think he'd go with Hangman Page, as you say, with the inaugural shot that he had against Jericho. Also, that could further fuel the heel obnoxiousness of Kenny Omega. Or you just run with this heel Kenny Omega, who absolutely just wins in convincing fashion, and he goes on to face Moxley. I'm going to go with Omega because I love him at the moment. I think this new character, this cleaner character, is so great. I want to see more of it, and I want to see him feud with Moxley.
Kenny Omega is the best thing for the company, and I think it's the best thing for Page to lose. He won't look rubbish in defeat, but potentially Kenny should do some heel shenanigans to pick up the victory, so that Page feud for longer. So when Kenny is the champion, when fans are back in the arena, Page and Omega can have a match, and we get the spot that we've all been waiting for. Hangman kicks out of the one-winged angel then. But not here, Page loses.
I'm also going for Omega because you made some very convincing points.
Clean sweep for Kenny. Clean sweep,
Cleaner. What? Mops and stuff. What? Brooms. Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rhodes for the AEW Women's Championship.
Forgot this was on the card.
And this is the rematch from Double or Nothing, which was a great match. And I think I'm not angry at having to see it again necessarily. It's just a bit disappointing that this is the best they could come up with quite a long time to sort of build to something. I still think Shida's going to retain, and hopefully they'll find another woman somewhere for her to take on after that. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Shida retaining, and I guess feud with Britt Baker? ? Honestly, I don't know at this point.
I can see them trading the belt here just for something to do.
I'm going to give this match as much thought and attention as AEW have done building it. Shida wins.
Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Now, they've had 3 matches. The first one was taken to a time limit draw, and then Cody won 2 matches against Darby. So technically, this is this is really the third match that might have a proper outcome. I think because I don't think a lot of other titles are really changing hands on this show. I think there's going to be a lot of good matches, like I said, but I don't think there's going to be a huge deal of excitement to like make your little Twitter profile stuff about, be like, this title's changed hands and new. I'd give the belt to Darby.
I'm also going to go with Darby. I know Cody just won it back from Brody Lee. Apparently the original plan was never for Brody Lee to win the belt in the first place. It's now the time to start pulling the trigger on some of these guys. The AEW have done a great job of building up for over a year. Proper homegrown star. Nice to see. Love to see it.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Darby Allin.
FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Who do you think is going to win?
God damn it. I was going to sort of do whatever Luke said to keep track of some of these.
That's what I'm going with as well.
It's difficult, man, because it's not been a great build. I think if it was a great, but maybe this is by design. If it was a great build, I would have thought, FTR are retaining. Let's extend the feud out for longer. But because it hasn't been a great build, they're going to have a great match. I don't think that's in doubt. But the story leading up to this, after years and years and years of dream match hype, has been profoundly underwhelming. So I think, especially with this Young Bucks Hail Mary stipulation that they threw in 2 weeks out from the pay-per-view, essentially admitting in the promo, build hasn't been great, has it? We'll never challenge for the tag titles again. That's what's on the line. I think the Young Bucks are going to win it.
I kind of want to go with FTR just to go against Mr. Davis, but I do think the Bucks are winning here. But yeah, I just cannot imagine an AEW world where the Young Bucks never challenge for the tag titles again. That seems like a very bad business decision when you have got legit one of the best tag teams in the world and you're never going to crown them the champion. You've already done it once with Cody. I don't think to do it for a second time with the Bucks is the right move. So I'm going to go with the Young Bucks here to win the tag titles.
I'm going to go with the logic of why do you dangle it if you're not going to do it, and go with FTR, this hyped feud that has been like bubbling away in the back of people's minds for years and years and years. And obviously like the build hasn't been fantastic, but you want to give some flavor to this inside AEW. Bucks not being able to challenge for the belts is a heck of a flavor, and then you set up some sort of gauntlet for them to run, basically to earn an opportunity back and just say, look, we'll put ourselves through hell, whatever it is that needs to be done to challenge for the tag team titles again. It's too specific. I know it's the sort of specific that they've already done with Cody as well, but it just feels too specific. And this says to me FTR, but that might be my WWE brain kicking in and just being like, oh yeah, you want to go with the most convoluted answer.
It just doesn't seem like the sort of thing AEW would do, is to set up a stipulation and then just go back on it. Like, I think one of the things they have always set out to do is that the stipulations do mean something and outcomes mean something.
Okay, this is it, the final one. Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship in an I Quit match.
As much as I want it to be Eddie Kingston, I feel that the return of Pac this coming Wednesday is going to split off the family into, so it's Pac and the Lucha Brothers versus Kingston and Butcher and Blade in sort of like a six-man tag. There've been talk that they're going to introduce the six-man titles next year on the Jericho Cruise, although cruises don't seem like the most... they don't think they're going to be coming back anytime soon.
It's not out at sea, Luke.
It's international waters. COVID doesn't know they are there.
Doesn't come out after 10, doesn't live in the sea.
And it can't attack people of six or less. Then it's just
exactly.
like,
it's blind to small groups of people.
Wait, 7 of you? I'm coming after you.
Like a T-Rex.
So I'm going to go with Moxley to retain here in what I think is going to be an excellent match. And I think Kingston's going to split off into a feud with Pac down the line.
Yeah, Moxley retains, but it's very predictable, I think. It's like Roman Reigns beating Jey Uso, but that does nothing to lower my excitement and intrigue about this match. It just shows when you've got a story that's great enough, characters that are diametrically opposed in such an extreme way. Like, I want to see the match regardless of how predictable the outcome is. I think this has been an extraordinary build. It's one that they've done on the fly because this was never meant to be the plan. It was because Lance Archer got COVID and they had to do a last-minute match between Moxley and Kingston, and they spun this program out. But I'm going to go with Moxley because he's the right decision and it sets up that Kenny Omega match.
Yeah, I bloody love Eddie Kingston. I think he's so good, and his mic skills are next level. And I would love to see him with the championship. I really think he'd add something. But yeah, I think the promise of either Hangman Page or Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, and I think it's Omega versus Moxley, is too great, I think, for Eddie Kingston to win here. So I'm also going to go for Jon Moxley.
We've pretty much got all the same predictions. There's only a few discrepancies. You're the special guest referee. How are you going to decide?
I don't think we can end this in a draw. Not like last time where David screwed me when it ended in a draw by like Pete giving him points or some nonsense. So this cannot end in a draw again.
We're leaving it up to the referee's discretion. I think we're going to have to come up with an extra stipulation here.
What sort of extra stipulation?
Some sort of on a pole match.
What do you mean on a pole match?
Pole?
Poles are stupid.
Polls are stupid, but polls are also the best way to decide things. So I will be, as special guest referee, setting tasks for you two to complete during the stream, and the best person to complete the task, as voted for in the poll on the live stream by our viewers and decided by me ultimately, will win extra points for this predictions competition.
No,
it's an actual on a poll match.
No, you can't give the SWAF Nation so much power. They don't know what they want. I know what they want.
But they're going to get the decision this weekend. They're going to be able to vote who completes the tasks better in a sort of, I guess, task mastery style competition that runs parallel to the predictions competition that we'll be doing. So yeah, please do join us this weekend for our live reactions to AEW Full Gear. And if you want to compete against us, join our Patreon, become a pledge hammer, and join Wrestle League, and you get to join the predictions competition for the chance to be a champion in that too. That is all we have time for. Ollie is struggling, I think, to continue to pull this face. We'll finish the whole thing off because I've been Elfagid Laura Blake. I've been joined by Ollie Davis and Luke Owen, and that was predictions.